Thank you for joining us for Channel 6 Evening News. My name is Kelly Bittler.
And I'm Trader Lenny.
We have breaking news today from Russia concerning the political developments in the country. We now have confirmation that Joseph Stalin has been successful in taking over the dictator of the country.
That's right. Stalin has been slowly advancing his way towards this position these past few years, but now he's made it, and we have someone in the field to cover it.
Reporting live from Russia, I'm Trainer Lenny.
So, Trainer, tell us what's happening.
This all started in 1912 when Stalin was appointed on the first Central Committee of the Bolshevik Party.
And then, of course, the Bolshevik Revolution took place in 1917, and Lenin founded the Soviet Union in 1922.
Right. Now during this time, Stalin was slowly moving his way up the party ladder. In 1922, Stalin was named the Secretary General of the Central Committee of the Communist Party. This position was very important because it allowed him to appoint his allies to government jobs and to grow a base of political support.
What can you tell us about the recent developments?
Well, in 1924, Lenin died, and at this point, everyone expected Trotsky to take his place. However, Stalin, Kamenev, and Grigory Zinoviev formed a triumvirate of successors allied against Trotsky. In 1925, these three ousted Trotsky. After this, Stalin turned on Kamenev and Zinoviev and allied with Nikolai Bukharin.
And this is how he came to power.
Yes, Zinoviev and Kamenev then allied with Trotsky to take down Stalin, but they failed and Stalin secured the leadership position.
Wow, what an incredible story. So what does this country have in store for them?
Due to these developments, it is predicted that the Soviet Union will transform from a peasant society into an industrial and military superpower. It is also predicted that under Stalin's rule, which experts predict is likely to end in 1953, the country will be ruled under terror and millions of citizens will be murdered during his reign. This country has a bright future ahead of them.
In other news, the appeasement policies of World War II have reportedly just taken new steps to doing nothing.
We go live to Munich.
Good evening, Trainer and Kelly.
Good evening, Kelly. Tell us what's happening.
I'm standing here outside the building where the Munich Agreement was signed on September 30th, 1938.
What exactly is the Munich Agreement?
The Munich Agreement is the most recent steps taken by the Allied powers to prevent war with the dictators. This meeting was arranged between the British Prime Minister, Neville Chamberlain, German Chancellor, Adolf Hitler, the Italian Deuce of Fascism, Benito Mussolini, and the French Prime Minister, Édouard Daladier.
So what happened at this meeting?
Supposedly, they signed an agreement based off the Italian plan proposed by Mussolini. This plan called for the Sudetenland region of Czechoslovakia to be ceded to Germany in exchange for the guarantees it would mark the end of German territorial expansion.
Why are the Allied powers practicing these appeasement policies?
It is obvious that the Allied powers want to avoid war at whatever cost it may be. There are speculations that the Allies are not militarily ready for war and are still suffering from the Depression. Also, I've been hearing reports that the Allied powers are more threatened by communism than the dictators of Europe.
Very interesting developments. Are there any other appeasement steps being taken?
Yes. In fact, I've just been informed that Germany will sign the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact with the Soviet Union on August 23rd of 1939.
And what are the details of this pact?
Nothing is set in stone yet, but supposedly this will be a non-aggression pact between Hitler and Stalin. They are also secretly planning to divide Eastern Europe into the spheres of influence, as well as split up the nation of Poland for later invading.
Thank you, Kelly. Always a valuable source of information.
Well, that is exciting news. It appears the Germans have been momentarily slowed down and the war will be avoided if Hitler is a man of his word, that is.
Let's go to Kelly with the latest on the economy.
Well, things are looking brighter as many countries are slowly working their way out of the depression. Many countries are preparing for war, so the armament of these nations is contributing greatly to the revival of their economies. In addition, the slower recovery of nations such as France and Britain may be a factor in their decisions to appease the dictators. Thank you, Kelly, always providing excellent insight.
Hold up, we've just got breaking news.
Yes, it appears that a Nazi plan to invade Brazil and the U.S. has been revealed.
We're getting reports that Hitler planned on setting up a military standing in the country of Brazil. He then planned on taking over the entire Western Hemisphere.
I guess this means that he abandoned his plans to develop a long-range America bomber to attack the East Coast. He had other plans for his world domination. Thankfully, he will never be able to carry out such a plan.
Yes, we should be very thankful. Now let's go to Trainer with the sports. This week in sports.
Good evening, everybody. Just the other day, the nation of Japan invented a new sport. The sport is very deadly, but it brings the players and their families much honor and pride. They call this sport kamikaze piloting. It's a very interesting concept. In this sport, these pilots, who have and need little training, load their planes with explosives and attempt to fly their planes into American ships. The objective is to sink as many American ships as possible. I'm told that this sport inspires the Japanese at home by the sacrifice of its players and terrifies the opposing team.
Such an interesting sport for a strong and militaristic culture. I heard that the sport will reportedly sink 300 U.S. ships and result in 15,000 casualties.
Truly, that is the deadliest sporting event ever invented. On the brighter side of things, let's go to the weather.
Thank you, Kelly and Trainer. The weather this week across the greater United States is fairly normal. The weather in Europe is the same, nothing out of the ordinary. The southern Atlantic is experiencing very rough storms, and crossing the ocean has been deemed unsafe. This may be why the Nazis will never make it to Brazil. On the other hand, weather in the Pacific is excellent, and the air visibility is fantastic. So if you're on an American ship in the Pacific, look out for those kamikaze planes.
Thank you, Trainer.
It's about that time of the broadcast that we display our Power Player of the Week.
That's right, this week's power player reigns from good old England.
This week's Power Player of the Week is the one and only Winston Churchill.
Winston was born on November 30th, 1874 at Blenheim Palace in Oxfordshire. He got his start in politics in 1900 when he became a Conservative Member of Parliament for Oldham. He then became dissatisfied with his party, and in 1904 he joined the Liberal Party.
And Winston got his big break in May 1940, when Neville Chamberlain resigned as Prime Minister and Churchill took his place.
Churchill became an inspirational figurehead for Great Britain and the war. This is evident in his refusal to surrender to Germany when they constantly bombarded the mainland of Great Britain. He then worked tirelessly throughout the war and built strong relations with the U.S. and maintained a difficult relationship with the USSR in order to defeat the Nazi regime. Over the years, Churchill has become a symbol for victory among the oppressed and the conquered people.
Churchill was definitely instrumental in motivating the British people to never give up. His attitude kept the country together and saved the whole world.
And that's it for the news this week.
Join us next week for more news. And from all of us at Channel 6, I'm Trainer Lenny.
And I'm Kelly Bittler.
And you stay classy.